Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most debated military comparisons in the Middle East, Egypt's R-300 Elbrus ballistic missile versus Israel's David's Sling air and missile defense system. These two platforms represent very different philosophies, one focused on offensive long-range strike capability and the other built for cutting-edge interception and layered defense. In this video, we're going to break down their origins, capabilities, technologies, and the strategic realities behind how they shape regional security. The explanations will be simple, the paragraphs short, and the focus will stay clear so you can understand exactly how these two systems compare and why they matter. The R-300 Elbrus, widely known in the West as the Scud-B, has a long history that dates back to the Soviet era. Egypt became an early user and later worked toward local development, modification, and adaptation. For decades, the R-300 has formed part of Egypt's ballistic missile foundation, serving as a deterrent and a symbolic tool of strategic reach. While the missile's design is old, its presence in Egypt's arsenal represents a type of geopolitical signaling that nations use to assert influence and regional posture. In contrast, Israel's David's Sling is a modern system built collaboratively with the United States, representing the newest generation of missile interception technology. It is meant to handle threats that older systems and shorter-range interceptors could not deal with effectively. So right from the start, we're comparing a Cold War-era offensive missile to a state-of-the-art defensive shield. The R-300 Elbrus is a single-stage, liquid-fueled ballistic missile with a range of around 300 kilometers. For its time, this range offered significant reach, allowing for deep strikes across borders. Its warhead is sizable, giving it destructive potential against a wide variety of targets. The simplicity of its design makes it reliable in the sense that it is rugged and straightforward, but it also comes with limitations. Accuracy is relatively low compared to modern missiles, and its large radar signature makes it easy to track. Despite these drawbacks, Egypt has historically considered the R-300 a strategic asset in its missile inventory. The goal for such a missile is not always pinpoint accuracy but delivering a strong political or military message. This is an important difference to remember because these older missiles function as both military tools and psychological levers in regional balancing. David's Sling, on the other hand, is built for precision, speed, and rapid reaction. Its Stunner interceptor missile is one of the most advanced interceptors ever developed. Instead of explosive fragmentation, it uses a hit-to-kill approach, meaning it destroys incoming missiles through direct impact. This technology is extremely complex, requiring high-speed maneuverability, advanced sensors, and real-time tracking. The system is designed to stop medium-range ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, heavy rockets, and guided threats that other layers of Israel's missile defense network, like Iron Dome or Arrow, cannot handle alone. The goal is not just interception but reliable interception, even under high-stress, multi-target conditions. When comparing these two systems, we are essentially comparing offense versus defense. The R-300 aims to deliver a warhead to a target. David's Sling aims to prevent that warhead from ever reaching the target. The effectiveness of an offensive missile depends on factors like speed, trajectory, launch surprise, and countermeasures. The effectiveness of a defensive system depends on detection, tracking accuracy, interceptor agility, and system readiness. In this matchup, Israel's modern sensors and multi-layered defense architecture give David's Sling an advantage. It does not operate alone. It works alongside Israel's radar network, Arrow anti-ballistic systems, and the Iron Dome. This layered approach means multiple chances to intercept the same threat. The R-300's strength lies in its simplicity and availability. It can be deployed quickly and transported easily. In a conflict scenario, Egypt could launch several missiles at once, attempting to overwhelm defensive systems through numbers. This tactic is common in missile warfare, where saturation attacks aim to exhaust or confuse defense networks. However, modern systems like David's Sling are designed with multi-target engagement in mind. High-processing radars, fast-response interceptors, and advanced algorithms help the system track and neutralize several threats at once. While nothing is truly invincible, the technological gap between an older missile and a modern interceptor heavily favors the defensive side. Another major difference between these systems is in their accuracy. The R-300's circular error probable, essentially the measurement of how accurately it hits the intended target, is relatively large. This makes it more suitable for area targets than precision strikes. Meanwhile, David's sling is built for absolute precision, not only in hitting its target but doing so under extreme time pressure. The interception window for a ballistic missile can be very short, sometimes less than a minute, but David's sling is engineered for this level of response. From a strategic perspective, Egypt's R-300 represents deterrence and legacy capability. It shows that Egypt maintains long-range offensive tools and has an established missile infrastructure. But Israel's David's sling represents technological dominance in defense and aerospace engineering. It is part of a network that has been tested in real combat conditions and continues to evolve. Countries spend decades developing systems like this because defense against ballistic threats is one of the most challenging technological problems in modern warfare. Even though these two systems differ in age and purpose, their comparison still helps illustrate the evolving nature of military power in the Middle East. Countries like Egypt rely on ballistic missiles to project strength, while Israel relies heavily on defensive technology to counter regional threats. This push-and-pull dynamic creates a cycle of advancement. More offensive capability encourages more defensive innovation, which then inspires new offensive modernization. This arms race is not unique to the region but is especially visible here due to long-standing rivalries and shifting alliances. Another interesting aspect is cost. The R-300 is relatively inexpensive compared to modern missiles. This makes it easier to produce or acquire in large numbers. David's sling, however, is expensive. Each interceptor missile costs far more than a single R-300. This cost imbalance means that in a hypothetical conflict, the side firing the offensive missiles could attempt to impose economic pressure on the defender by forcing repeated interceptions. But even with cost asymmetry, countries prioritize defense because the consequences of a successful ballistic strike can be devastating. Looking at survivability, the R-300's slow launch preparation and fuel requirements make it vulnerable. Liquid-fueled missiles require careful handling, and the fueling process can take time, during which the missile is detectable. Modern surveillance satellites and airborne sensors can spot these activities. Israel's defensive posture is designed to capitalize on such detectability. On the other hand, David's sling is always on standby, integrated into automated networks that track threats continuously. It does not require long preparation time. This readiness is a huge advantage when dealing with fast-moving threats. When we talk about conflict scenarios, it's important to remember that missile effectiveness depends heavily on real-world conditions. Terrain, timing, radar coverage, and electronic warfare all change outcomes. While David's sling is impressive, no missile defense system can guarantee 100% interception. Saturation attacks, decoys, or unexpected trajectories can complicate defense. At the same time, the R-300 has limitations too. Its trajectory is predictable, making interception easier compared to maneuvering modern missiles. Its age also means it does not have the advanced guidance systems found in newer ballistic designs. In terms of impact on regional security, the existence of systems like David's sling lowers the risk of successful missile strikes, which can reduce escalation potential. However, the presence of offensive missiles like the R-300 maintains power balance by giving nations the ability to respond or deter aggression. This balance is fragile but essential in preventing conflicts from escalating too quickly. Technology also plays a major role in shaping military doctrine. Israel's doctrine emphasizes active defense, stop the threat before it hits. Egypt's doctrine includes deterrence through strategic capability, ensure adversaries understand the cost of escalation. These different doctrines reflect different national experiences, geographic realities, and strategic needs. One thing both systems highlight is the diversity of military technology in the modern era. An older missile like the R-300 can still matter politically and militarily, even in an age dominated by high-tech systems like David's sling. But as time goes on, the gap between older offensive weapons and advanced defensive systems widens. Nations investing in defense push technological limits further every year. In a future scenario, Egypt could upgrade its missile forces with more modern designs that feature better accuracy, faster launch readiness, and improved survivability. Israel will likely continue improving David's sling, refining sensors, increasing processing speed, and boosting interception reliability. This ongoing evolution ensures that the comparison between offense and defense remains dynamic, not fixed. The R-300 and David's Sling tell the story of two different military eras. One is rooted in Cold War strategy, the other in 21st-century precision defense. Understanding both helps us appreciate how nations prepare, protect, and position themselves in a complex region. This comparison isn't about which side is better, it's about understanding the tools, technologies, and strategies that shape security decisions. As long as ballistic missiles exist, defensive systems will continue evolving, and comparisons like this will remain relevant. Thanks for watching, and if you want more detailed breakdowns of global missile systems, defense technology, and strategic analysis, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for upcoming videos.